Good morning. Welcome to the Community Voice. I'm Steve Gradick, your host. Delighted to have you with us as we start another week. And thank you for listening. And thank you to our sponsors, Tanner Health System and Oak Mountain Academy. We're honored to have, it's become an annual visit, yes, which I'm thankful for. Kathy Parsons, founder, CEO of Impact West Georgia. Good morning, Kathy.
Good morning.
All right. You're a big talker.
I've been told.
So I may just say go for it and go take a little break or something. But anyway, I say that with all due love and respect. But Impact West Georgia, for those who don't know, we're proud to tout the virtues and the assets and the impact of Impact West Georgia, because it really does a great work. But tell us about the origins of it, how it came about, and its mission, if you would.
Well, it came about way back in 2004 when the director of the Housing Authority came to me and said, can you meet me today, basically? And I said yes. And she asked me at that time if I would be interested in opening a homeless center for men in Carrollton. We had things for women and children, which we should, but nothing around here for 10 counties for men. And there was a need, even though several people in the community didn't think there was a need. We certainly have shown that there is definitely a need. So, being green as grass as far as working with the homeless, I went around to about 5 different homeless shelters in Carrollton, not in Carrollton, but in Georgia, and worked with them for just a little bit. And basically, I ripped off their best practices. I told them that's what I was there to do.
It's called modeling, not ripping off.
Modeling their best practices. And of course, we had to tweak it to suit the situation here in Carrollton. It was a very strong learning curve, but we think we've got it down now where we're really helping our men, and they come to us broken, and there's been some devastating event in their life or some very bad choices. And so we try to restore that sense of dignity and honor and value that if a man doesn't have, they're broken. And, if a man can't take care of his family or even himself, there's something inside that just kind of dies. And so we try to get them in there and teach them that, God loves them and they have value and worth, and point out all the good things and do lots of positive reinforcement. Most of these men, these are good men. Now, there's that 10% that just doesn't, want to climb out of where they are. But most of these men are great men who have just had a tragic event or something to happen in their life, like a divorce or the loss of a loved one or a sickness or a wreck even. Just things happen in life, and it just devastates them. And so the greatest joy in our life with Hope Center is to see these men restored, to see them stand up and say, I do have value, I do have worth, and I'm going to, we try to teach them it's not home, but we try to make it as home-like as we possibly can. And it is communal living, so they have to learn to get along with each other. And some of them have come to us, and they've never really had to make a bed or cook a meal or clean a bathroom. And Mama doesn't live at Hope Center, so they're taught these soft skills as well, so that when they do transition into independent living, they do it well. They want to keep their apartments clean. They want to work. One of the first things we do when they come to us is evaluate where they are and where they want to be. The men themselves set goals, and so we try to take them from where they are when they come to us to where they want to be. And we set out a path for that. And it depends on where they are when they get to us. If they've got a car, they're ahead of the game. If they've got a job, they're ahead of the game. And so that's how we kind of model what we do inside of Hope Center. And if they come to us without a job, their first job is to get a job. And oftentimes, that requires some preliminary work, like getting their driver's license, a copy of their driver's license back, or getting fees paid so that they can get their driver's license back, photo IDs, that they need, copies of their Social Security. A lot of them, especially those who have been incarcerated, lose all that documentation. Well, you have to have those. We've partnered with a few people around town who will hire them until they get their stuff, assuming that they're going to get all their documentation. And then they work, and then they save 95% of their money.
Everything you described, though, has been kind of the reality of everyday living, the nuts and bolts. Got to get, transportation, job, housing, whatever. But they've been impacted by traumatic incidences or circumstances in their life, difficult situations. So how much of a emotional counseling support do you provide?
Well, right now, if you're out there and you're a counselor and you would like to volunteer some time, we would love to have you.
Or if I could interrupt, are you finding that really just kind of getting back into the routine is probably the greatest therapy?
It is a good therapy. Let me put it that way. I think we all need therapy, and I think that it doesn't hurt to have that. And we did have a licensed therapist, but he moved his practice to Atlanta. And we've had several short-term ones in between, but nobody worked out like that first one. But we would love to do it. Would love to give them therapy. The thing is they work different hours. They work different times. It's hard to get them together to do any kind of group therapy, but we would if someone wanted to volunteer to do that. We certainly would.
And as a Christian ministry, how does faith work into as you bring these men back into the mainstream?
Yeah, we tell them right up front, we're a faith-based organization. Statistically, though, people who want help want it from a faith-based organization, and so they know that coming in. But we don't make them read the Bible. We don't make them go to Bible study. We don't make them go to church. But we do love them, love on them. We do speak of God into their lives, and we provide, if they want to go to church, then we'll provide transportation for them to do that. And it has been remarkable how they warm up to that. There was a show on, I think the reruns are still going on, called Reba. Mm-hmm. And there was Barbara Jean on that, who was hysterical, and they were having an incident with Van on that show one time, and Barbara Jean just went over to him and started to beat him over the head with the Bible. Yeah, that's not how we do it. Right, we just love on them, show the love of Christ to them, model before them the behavior that we'd like to see out of them, and you would be so surprised at how many of them just respond to that. And another thing that we have learned over the years is that we listen to them. Mm-hmm. We listen to them talk. My husband is at the center most of the time, and they absolutely love him. And the reason is he listens. Mm-hmm. He listens to them, and their TA listens to transition assistant. She listens to them. And they have remarked over and over, you listen to me. Nobody ever listens to me. Mm-hmm. And it really makes a difference in their lives because they realize their opinions have value and their goals are important. And there are resources in the community to help them reach those goals. They have to do it. We don't do it for them, but we do guide them in directions and give them choices. And most of the time, they take them. They take those choices and they move forward and they save their money and they work every day and they develop this work ethic. And we just praise God for that.
Well, we could all be better listeners, I'm sure.
That's true.
Our guest this morning is Kathy Parsons, founder, CEO of Impact West Georgia. We're going to come back and talk about Ride for Hope coming up this weekend and much more after these words.
Health is a journey. It's making better choices, even when it's not easy. It's taking care of yourself and the people you love. At Tanner Health System, we're there for you with every step, with primary care, heart care, cancer care, women's care, orthopedics, surgical services, and so much more. We're dedicated to helping you live and feel your best. So let's get on that journey to health. You've got places to be for many years to come. Find us at tanner.org.
At Oak Mountain Academy, our academic excellence shines through innovation and a personalized educational experience. Our pre-K 3 through 12th grade environment offers a family-oriented atmosphere. We are an independent school with faith-based values and an Academy Honor Code. Our academic standards prepare our students for college and beyond. I'm Patrick Duran, headmaster, inviting you to visit us on the mountain or at oakmountain.us. Come see how our warriors are creating legacies.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Community Voice. I'm Steve Gradick, your host. Delighted to have you with us on this beautiful day, and we're honored to have in studio Kathy Parsons, founder, CEO of Impact West Georgia. We're also on Facebook Live. If you have any questions or comments you'd like to post, I'll try to get to them in a minute. Before we get into Ride for Hope, and I want to go ahead and get into that in this segment, then we'll come back to it. It's just not the Hope Center. Now, that's just up the street from us. So it's on Noonan Road. So if anybody ever wonders, like, kind of where we're talking about, the Hope Center's on Noonan Road. But we're still doing the Deserve Van. And, and we have the ACE program.
Yeah.
Tell us about, we just don't want to stop with the Hope Center. Tell us about the van and ACE and other things.
Well, you drive up Noonan Road, you drive past the Hope Center, but you'd never know it because it just doesn't, we're not institutional, it doesn't look like that.
Right.
But the Deserve Van is a free veterans transportation for Carroll County veterans to and from their medical appointments at Trinka Davis and Tanner Medical Center. Several years ago, we realized there was a need that commercial transportation was very expensive, and a lot of our veterans just couldn't afford it, and they couldn't get to their medical appointments. And we thought in naming it that those who have served us, written that blank check, deserve at least to have access to their medical appointments. So Trinka Davis offered out a grant, and we applied for it through the Community Foundation of West Georgia, and we got that grant, and we purchased GMC van and retooled it to be double wheelchair accessible. And ever since 2012, we have been transporting our Carroll County veterans to their medical appointments in Carroll County at Trinka Davis. And then ACE is Adult and Community Education Building. We just put on a new board member who's Dave Ramsey kind of expert, so he's going to be a real asset to the Adult Communication Center. But we do things like workshops like avoid the tidal pond trap, get that job, keep that job, and now some Dave Ramsey financial peace workshops are in our future. But we also do adult reading and writing. We have a Cool Kids Club that's kind of taking the place of tutoring children and youth. It's to develop a love of reading in the children who come to it. And we've got a little free library that we're waiting for COVID to clear up a little bit to put out. And so we're excited about that. And English as a second language classes.
So who's this open to, the ACE program?
Anybody who wants to come to those. When we offer those, now English as a second language are internationals who want to learn to speak English. You know, they're the cream of the crop who come to the United States and want to assimilate into the community, and they certainly, as they work, want to be able to communicate well with their employers. And then all their children are the core of our Cool Kids Club, but we also have children in the community who participate in that as well.
Let's go back for a moment to Hope Center. The amount of homelessness in our area is greater than most people think, is it not?
Yeah, when we first started, there were people saying we don't need that. You know, there's homeless there, but the executive director of the Housing Authority felt like we did, and so. Like I said, she came and asked me, and I was a little green about it. But we've not had. We work from a waiting list. Let me put it that way, and we have a lot of the time, which means we're filled up, and you can come in as spots open. Now the program has changed a little bit because of COVID and because of we don't have transportation. That's been all along, but also housing is just. An incredible challenge to our men right now. So as long as they're doing, taking their referrals, they're working, they're saving their money, we try to keep them now until they are ready to transition. And so that could be 6 months, or more, because housing is hard to find. at an affordable rate in Carrollton.
You slipped in earlier and like, you serve 10 counties?
We're the only, no, we'll serve anybody. We don't care where you come from. But what I meant by that is there wasn't another shelter like ours, a transitional, in a 10-county radius around Carrollton.
That's a little bit shocking, isn't it?
Yeah, it was shocking when we discovered that. And I think that's why the executive director of the Housing Authority at that time thought, we need something. We need something for men. Yeah. Now, there is a homeless shelter now in Douglasville that will hold it. And a lot of these places charge money. And homeless men don't have a lot of money. If they've got family who can support them, then they can get into some of these programs.
Do you see, I'm sure you have at least a few times, families coming back together after the man goes.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me about that.
That's what we live for.
Yeah, tell me about that.
Well, a man who's made some mistakes or something has happened.
Been stupid.
Yeah, well, we all do that. We all make the think and say, did I really say that? Or did I really do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, So, yeah. And they've seen, drugs are often,
sure.
Alcohol is still the drug of choice for older men 40 and above. And so they have let these things dominate their lives, and it's called a rift. Families can only take so much sometimes.
Right.
And so they get that under control. And they prove to their family that they can be trusted again. When you lose trust, you have to earn it back. People don't just offer it. And so they save their money. They start paying their child support. We are a strong advocate of that. If you have child support, then you have to pay that. That comes out of your funds first.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I lived with a deadbeat dad as a child,
really?
and so I know how important that can be to families and to children. So they do that, and they start doing that on a regular basis, and they communicate well with their spouses or their ex-spouses or the mother of their children, and gradually that trust begins to renew, and they begin to trust them, so they let them more and more in their lives, and then they reunite. We've seen it over and over again, and we've seen men come to us and leave us with 6-figure jobs. We've seen men come to us who didn't finish high school, and we help them finish high school. They have to be 18 when they come to us. And then we've seen men come to us with master's degrees who have just let something in their life, kind of destroy them and get them off track.
Like you said, that's got to be the most satisfying thing, to see a family become reintact or put reunited rather. Yeah. And that's just got to be so powerful, particularly when there are kids involved.
And it means so much to the men to have their children care, and to get to be with their children again. Yeah. It's powerful, and it's the hardest thing we ever love doing. But we sure do love doing that and seeing that. Now, there are also heartbreaks where it doesn't work out.
Right.
But
our guest this morning is Kathy Parsons, founder, CEO of Impact West Georgia. We're going to come back, get into Ride for Hope. But first, these words.
Health is a journey. It's making better choices, even when it's not easy. It's taking care of yourself and the people you love. At Tanner Health System, we're there for you with every step, with primary care, heart care, cancer care, women's care, orthopedics, surgical services, and so much more. We're dedicated to helping you live and feel your best. So let's get on that journey to health. You've got places to be for many years to come. Find us at tanner.org.
As a graduate of Oak Mountain Academy, I've found that my experience on the mountain prepared me beyond all expectations. As a junior at Auburn University, I approached my studies with great confidence thanks to what I learned at OMA. When I think back on my time on the mountain, I think of my teachers. Their genuine love and concern for me as a student was always evident, and now, as an adult, I still foster those relationships. I'm Carly Robinson, an Oak Mountain Academy alum. Visit oakmountain.us to see how you can offer your child an amazing opportunity to be a warrior.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Community Voice. I'm Steve Gradick, your host. Delighted to have you with us. We're honored to have in studio Kathy Parsons, founder, CEO of Impact West Georgia. We're on Facebook Live, and besides being on 106.3 FM, 1330 AM, and we also have an app you can download for News Talk 1330. Well, like every nonprofit, you've got to raise money.
Right.
And that's a big deal. So you came up with the idea of a motorcycle ride.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, why do a golf tournament or a dinner when you can get out on a bunch of Harleys and ride around?
Well, we wanted to do something that really wasn't being done. When we first started doing them, it was a kind of a different fundraiser. And
I'd say it's still a little different.
yeah, I'm so excited about this one. I get excited every year about it because it's a beautiful ride, first of all. And
the weather's going to be great this weekend.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. It's supposed to, and this rainy week we've had, it's a perfect time for you to get on those bicycles and or motorcycles and get out there and ride with us. Yeah. And we're excited about it. We have usually over 100 riders, just about as many bikes. You can double up. And it's this Saturday, September the 25th. Registration that day starts at 8 and continues to 8:45. And then we have kickstands up at 9 o'clock. Then we have the beautiful ride through Carroll County. And we'll end up at John Tanner State Park. And we have all kinds of great incentive prizes for you to ride with us. Like we've got a night on the town with a night in a hotel, dinner on the square, a show up at Milltown. We've got everything from compressors to crock pots. There's just all kinds of wonderful gifts that we have to kind of incentivize you to come ride with us. We've got gifts for women as well. And so you need to get on those bikes and come out. You can pre-register up until this Wednesday. After that, pre-registration will be closed. You are not guaranteed now after September the 1st a t-shirt and ride pin, but first come, first served. So if you registered, you may still get that. And then after that, and you also save some money. You save $5 on the ride cost, which is $30 the day of. But if you pre-register online before Wednesday or by Wednesday, it's only $25. And then your second rider, if you have a rider riding with you, it'll be $15 on Saturday. But if you pre-register, it'll only be $12. So save yourself a little money, get in there and pre-register. And if you forget to pre-register, still come out. It's a great cause, and you're going to really help change lives. And we're just so excited about it. And it's always a great, fun day getting out there and fellowshipping together. That's a Christian term, but we all get together and we just talk and love on each other. We sometimes don't see each other except that one time of the year. And we've got riders who've ridden with us every year. We've got volunteers who have volunteered every year up into their 80s. You know, from in their early 20s to up in their 80s, our volunteers. And if you'd like to volunteer, call the office and we'll find something for you to do. There's always room for volunteers at Impact West Georgia.
Where's it start? Where's the ride start?
Walmart in Carrollton.
And then it ends up at Tanner.
John
so
Tanner
how many miles? Do you know?
I don't know. It takes about 2 hours, hour and a half, 2 hours to get from Walmart up there because it's a very scenic route. And I know it's very similar to last year's route, and everybody just went on and on. Even our police escort said.
So you have police escorts?
Well, yes.
Well,
we need to get through the city streets.
Uh-huh.
You know, after that, in the county, we're pretty much okay. But they stayed with us last year. And
they did.
Yeah, and everybody talked about what a beautiful ride it was, and they really enjoyed it. So it's always a pretty ride. Jim Grant, Louann Grant, and some of his rider buddies do that for us every year. They go out ahead of time, make sure there's no gravel on the roads, and you know that everything's right. We just so appreciate them. They do that every year for us, and we're.
So do you ride?
I don't.
You don't?
I don't ride.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I don't. I've been offered to ride on the back of someone, you know, and I've thought about it, but because there's so much activity that day and so many details that have to be taken care of to get from Walmart up there and to get the lunch ready. We're going to have a delicious lunch barbecue this year. And so all that needs to be set up, and I'm kind of the supervisor of that, you know, the kind of.
But it's possible you would ride.
Yeah, it's possible. Get a big enough bike.
Okay, I'm throwing a challenge out. Not that I could. You don't want me on a motorcycle. You don't want me behind the car, driver of the wheel of a car. Even anyway. Okay, so well, that's pretty fascinating. It's going to be a great Saturday. It's not too late. And how many riders? You think you hope to have 100? Correct?
Well, at least.
Or at least
yeah,
that.
well, we'd love to have 125 riders
Are
this
all these
year.
Harleys, or they can be smaller bikes too?
Oh,
right?
yeah, no, they're not all Harleys. No,
yeah, so-
we have all kinds of bikes coming. We even have trikes. And the three.
I don't understand those.
Well, we love them. I mean, we love any kind of bike. And one year we even had a couple of vintage cars that wanted to be a part of it.
And that's okay too?
That's okay. We don't care. It's our big premier fundraiser every year, and we have great sponsors. Let me mention that too.
Oh yeah, by all means.
This year, our presenting sponsor is Georgia Power, but we also we can always depend on Sony, SMI, Print Pack. I mean, I can't even remember all the corporate riders sponsors that we have. They are great, and we put those sponsors' names out on the tables, and we really promote them. We have people who sponsor us by giving us the incentive prizes, like Merle Norman and other people, and Robinson Salvage, and just all kinds of great support for this. And then, of course, we have all the riders who come. And
Karen Fraser says that motorcyclists are awesome, all capital letters, fundraisers. They raise a lot of money, and everyone is outside in the sunshine.
That's right. It's very COVID friendly. That's another good point.
Win, exclamation point, and exclamation point, and a lot of emojis afterwards. Anyway.
Saturday morning, September the 25th, Walmart, 8 o'clock to 8:45. Kickstands up at 9.
What's your website?
www.impactwestga.org.
Okay.
You can go on there and pre-register. You can call the office and pre-register by Wednesday. And then at the site, of course, that Sunday morning.
So since 2004, so what is that, 17 years or so?
We didn't start the rides until much later. It took about 3 years to remodel and get the center ready, because we did it with all volunteer labor. So many of our local contractors help with that. Marvin Hooker, who used to be at Home Depot, he was the spearheader of that. And then we opened up, and then we started the ride, I think in 2007 was the first
So during
ride.
that time, you've helped minister to hundreds of men,
Yes.
and you've seen many families reunited.
We have, and it's such a joy. It's such a blessing to us. It's not easy. We need monthly supporters. I mean, you can support us monthly, or as little as $5 a month, $10 a month, or whatever God lays on your heart, and you'll help us help more veterans and expand that program. You'll help us do more workshops that the community needs, and you'll help the Hope Men and reunite. We got a little Power of the Purse grant, and you think, well, that's a woman's kind of grant, but it helps reunite families. Yeah. It helps children get back together. So if you want to, Post Office Box 1677, Carrollton, Georgia, we would love for you to do an automatic or monthly support at any amount. All right, and the website again? www.impactwestga.org.
And everybody come out to Wally World on Highway 27
on Saturday.
What time do they need to be there?
If you haven't registered, you need to be there between 8 and 8:45 to register. If you've pre-registered, you just need to be there before kickstands are up. You need to come because they have to sign their liability waivers and all that stuff. So get there sometime between 8 and 8:45, and then kickstands up are at 9. And we just can't wait to see you again.
And Kathy may be on the back of a Harley. All right.
We'll see.
We'll see. Impact West Georgia, thank you for coming in, Kathy, very much. We appreciate you and all everybody does for Impact West Georgia and serving our community. And thank you for listening to the Community Voice on WLBB Carrollton.